I'm going to be doing a heatless perm with just straws. And this is going to be a tutorial on how to do this. There is this curling wand that's really skinny that can kind of give you the same look as a perm, but this is using heat. And this is just a method to do it with no heat, no damage. Literally super easy. So I'm going to show you guys how to do a heatless perm. What you're gonna need for the perm is you're gonna need straws. Any straws will do. I got these from Amazon for about $3, $4. Usually I get the straws from the Dollar Tree because they're super cheap and they're a lot better actually. But the Dollar Tree didn't have any, so I just went with Amazon. I got 2 100 packs. If you have a lot of hair, you will need a lot of straws. I just got 200 to be safe, but the one thing I don't like about these ones is they're not quite long enough. As you can see, it is a little bit shorter and I have really long hair, so I do prefer the longer straws. So tip, if you have long hair, either the length of mine or down to your breast, get longer straws if you can find them. Clearly, I didn't read the length description, so we're just stuck with these. We're gonna make it work. If you have shorter hair, up to here, you could use these. You will also need like hair elastics. I got these from Amazon as well. I just got a pack of like 500, something like that. You don't necessarily need that many, but just to be safe. Literally 2 things you need: straws, elastics. That's about it. Optional is hair oil and this curling spray. This is the one from Aussie. It's the Aussie Miracle Curler. Typically, this is probably for girls who actually have curly hair, but I still use this when I'm doing heatless curly hairstyles, and it seems to work for me too. Step 1 is that you're gonna wanna detangle your hair. That's always the first step. Step 2, I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of hair oil, not too much because I don't want my hair to be super greasy. Just a little bit for frizz. Oh, that was a lot actually. That was way too much. You don't want too much. So I just wipe some of it off. I'm just gonna focus it mostly at the end. Mostly just at these dead ends that I need to cut off. Step 2 is curling spray. So technically if you're putting hair oil in, you don't have to do both of them, but I'm just gonna do both anyways. So I'm just going to kind of like spritz that a little bit all over my hair. Now I don't want to spritz too much because I want my hair mostly dry. I've talked about this a lot, but if you have really straight hair that struggles to hold a curl, you want to keep your hair 90% dry or literally 100% dry, so the curl will hold better. Next, I'm going to go in and prep my station, so it is going to be a lot easier for you if you just go ahead and prep some of the stuff. So just lay out, you know, a handful of the straws, a handful of the plastic elastics. So I've gone ahead and turned on another light because although that lighting is great for makeup, it's not so much great for when I'm trying to show you guys a hair tutorial. But essentially, I want to show you guys again. Let's just start from the beginning. So I already have 2 in, but essentially my straws that I got were too short. And typically you want the straw to be long enough that it's going to be able to bend in half for you to secure the hair, which I will show you guys another example on this side. But what I did was, so this is the normal length of the straw, right? I pretty much improvised and made the straw longer. And how I did that, and ideally you don't want to have to do this because it's obviously going to take extra time. So preferably if you have longer length hair, just get longest straws you can find. But if you have to do this, if you find yourself having to do this, what you're going to do is, so these are the bendy straws, right? They bend right here on these sides. You're going to want to take the part where it's not bending. You're going to pinch the middle. Just pinch it as much as you can to fit through the other straw, right? You're going to feed it through, and you're just going to carefully feed it through because you still want the straw to hold its shape. But I fed it through about this much. You guys can't see it, but I fed it through about this much. So it's about like a little bit more than an inch. To be safe, you want to feed it through enough where it's not going to fall apart, right? If you only feed it through a little bit, it's going to break apart and it's not going to work. And then essentially you have a longer straw. So I went ahead and prepped the straws already. So this is essentially 100 straws, but divide that in half because we obviously extended the straw, so it's 2 straws in 1. And like I said, it's easier if you have this prepped ahead of time. I have that laid out. I have my elastics laid out so I can just easily grab and go. So let me show you guys how I do it on this side. And essentially what you're gonna wanna do is, if you are the first time doing this, it might be easier for you to section your hair. So you could do like half up, half down. So it's easier for you to do it. However, I'm not gonna do that, but just a tip, if you guys are doing this for the first time, it might be easier to do that. Depending on how tight you want your curl to be, you are gonna take sections based off of that. So obviously, the larger sections you take, the larger your curl is gonna be. The smaller section you take, the tighter that curl is going to be. I don't personally recommend taking larger sections, but it's really up to your preference. Personally, I like to go somewhere in the middle, so not too large, not too small. So I'm just gonna take this piece to show you guys, right? I'm gonna tuck this behind my ear. Don't mind my botched nails because they really need to be painted, but I'm gonna take about this big of a section, and I want the curl to kind of go out. And you can also alternate the direction of like forward, like inwards, outwards, and then you can also technically alternate the pieces too. Like you can have some larger, some smaller as well. But essentially, I'm gonna go in and get it as tight to my scalp as I can. And you're just gonna start curling it around the straw in a spiral. And you're gonna wanna go down as far as you can because you want your ends to be curled as well. So obviously it's not gonna be perfect, but just try your best to go all the way down to the very end. And I like it where it's like this, right? So you still have room to fold this over. And you could even do it better where it's like half and half, because what you're gonna do next is you're gonna literally fold this over and cinch it like this. Then you're gonna take your elastic and you're essentially going to secure those 2 pieces. Now for the front piece, my hair is shorter, so I didn't really need to use an extended straw for this one. For the longer pieces, I definitely need the length of the straw, but for the sake of this shorter piece, I might accidentally cut off my actual hair. I'm going to just cut the straw so it's easier to tie around for that front piece, since it is shorter. So yeah, you're gonna take your elastic and you're just gonna start tying it around to secure that piece. And then it's gonna look a little crazy like this, but it's okay. And if you want it to sit better, you can also go like this. So there's that first piece. So essentially you're just gonna do that throughout your whole entire head until you have no hair left. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my hair, and then I will be back to show you guys with all the straws in and let you know how many straws I ended up using. So for you guys, that's a few seconds. For me, probably an hour. So I'll be right back. So I'm back, and that only took me about an hour and a half. So a really long time. Just know for sure, if you do this method, you will for sure get an arm workout. But this is what it's looking like, and you're gonna look a little crazy for a bit. Of course, you're not gonna be able to get it to be perfect, especially in the back, because it's hard to reach, and there's some pieces where I didn't go all the way to my scalp. But it's good enough for now, so we're just gonna wait about 2 hours, and then we will take it out. So it's been about 2 hours, and I'm just gonna take mine out now because honestly it's getting late and I just wanna go to sleep. But obviously the longer you keep it in, the better it's gonna look. So I would shoot for at least 5 hours, or between 3 and 5 hours, or longer if you can. But your girl needs to go to bed. So I just want to finish filming this tutorial. So next, at this point after you've waited, next step is to hairspray. I usually hairspray at this step, so I kind of just spray that everywhere. And then we're gonna start taking them out. Hopefully it turns out good. Okay, so here's the first one. And you wanna be careful when you take it out. Like look how freaking curly that is. Curly and bouncy. I usually take them out first and then I will go ahead and spread out the rest. We got 2. That looks so good actually. It's been a long time since I've done this. So these are the results after just taking it out. Now you're gonna wanna go in and spread them out a little bit, and to avoid as much fuzz as you can use a little bit of hair oil. Just rub that on your fingers and just go in and kind of start separating them like so. So you can already see the difference between this side and this side. And another thing too is I used 70 straws. So I used about 70 straws total on my hair. I actually used a lot less than I thought I would. And like I said, when you're separating these pieces, you gotta make sure you're very careful because otherwise you're gonna have a lot of frizz. So you're just gonna wanna be very gentle when you're separating. And that's why the hair oil kind of works too. So I'm just gonna continue separating my entire head. So I'll probably speed this part up a little bit. This is with the hair all separated out. I think it's pretty good. I think I missed a few strands, but it's okay. Did the best I could. And then at this point you can go ahead and hairspray it again if you want it to hold throughout the day. I'm not gonna hairspray it only because I'm literally gonna go to bed after this. But next thing you could do too, and the back view is probably not that great. Let me see. So this is the back right now. The front's looking hella cute, but what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna do like a hair flip. I think that would look a little bit better. You kind of just want to play around with it, essentially. But obviously still being careful as you're playing around with it, because like right here, you see how it's a little bit frizzy there? This is pretty much what it looks like. I think it's gorgeous. It is very time consuming, obviously, so it's definitely something that's going to take you time and effort. So of course, if you're someone who prefers to just use that curling rod that I showed, you can definitely use that. It'll give you similar results. If you're a girly who doesn't want to use heat, this is essentially another way to do that same thing with that small curling iron, but with no heat at all. That's all I have for this video. If you guys like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. That will really help your girl out a lot. Please and thank you. Really need it. You know, it's free, it doesn't hurt. Just do it for your girl, please. I'm half begging you, sort of begging you. And if you guys have any questions, obviously you guys can comment them below. I will answer all the comments. Let me know what you guys think about this tutorial. Let me know if you guys are gonna try it out, or if you have tried it out, let me know what y'all think. And that's pretty much it for this video. So I'll see you guys in another one. Bye!